Howdy friend, a lot of you folks out there have been commenting about the Picking for the Prize competition, wondering what it's like to compete, what the rules are, maybe some suggestions for repertoire and how to perform them. Well, guess what? I've got a special treat for you today, my friend, because I am joined by Mr. Ken Marut, the 2023 Picking for the Prize champion. In our conversation today, Ken's going to talk about what it was like preparing for the contest, what it was like competing in person, maybe give you some suggestions for how to craft your arrangements, as well as some other tips for keeping a cool head throughout the contest. Let's go ahead and dive in.
So up until the contest, I had been taking it a little bit more serious for about, I think it was like 2.5 years since then, maybe 3. It was during COVID where I sort of got into bluegrass or back into bluegrass. I think I heard like Flat and Scruggs early in high school. I played a little bit of banjo, but I really didn't learn too much about the history and the music itself. Yeah, during COVID, I just discovered like Tony Rice, late in life, and I was listening to it. I was like, this is great. I love it. And I had like in one of the cheaper Martin dreadnoughts, like the low end ones. And so I was just playing a lot, sort of trying to transcribe stuff. And I came across Brian Sutton's Artist Works thing. Tried to build up some vocabulary there. Eventually, I found Jake Workman on Instagram and saw some of his arrangements, and I was like, well, this is totally cool. I've never heard, the acoustic guitar played like that with a pick. And so I started taking lessons with him, and I think I was about 1.5 years into lessons with him. So I came across that contest from Marcel's video, and then figured, nothing to lose, might as well try it. Figured it would be a good challenge. And I mean, really the main thing for me is like, music isn't my full-time job. So I was just, during COVID, I was like, I need to get music back into my life and start doing it again. And the contest came up, and it's like, well, this is a perfect sort of thing for me. I can kind of work on it by myself. I can, so, I mean, I played a bit. So I'm not brand new to the guitar. I played guitar in high school, rock guitar, and a little bit of jazz and a little bit of gypsy jazz too. And so I was sort of comfortable with a pick, but in a completely different style, right? So that was kind of an interesting thing. That's one of the things I've been really working on, is just how to pick differently and, alternate pick and do all that. So I've been taking lessons with him pretty regularly since I started. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because I haven't taken lessons in so long, but it blows my mind that you can just take lessons with these pros, which is awesome. I mean, I don't know. I hadn't taken music lessons since college, and so it's like 10 years after that, and then it's like, well, I would love to take lessons again. I just couldn't find the right instructor in the area. Turns out you can just find people online, and they're awesome, and it's great. It's a great experience too. Just the one-on-one, it's almost as good as being there in real life. So since the start of the lessons, one of the things he sort of recommended was to write arrangements, like shorter, not full length, but so I would be, when I started with him, I would be basically working on technique, working on vocabulary, trying to learn the style, and then also learn tunes, right? Because I didn't know any of the tunes, and the tunes are the currency of bluegrass. So it's like, I'm trying to learn these tunes, and I'm also trying to make variations of them, just, for whatever reason, just to build fluency on the guitar, the fretboard, everything, just kind of to get my ear trained a little bit. So that part, when the contest came around, I was just looking through, these shorter arrangements that I did, and just seeing like, oh, okay, this one, I like this one. I'm going to start with this. Maybe I can pull some from this one. So ultimately, that's sort of how the arrangement started for me. And then, I would play them in my lesson, and which was great because it puts you on the spot, right? Like you have accountability. So, I mean, really it's, he would help me, I think in sort of like the way that, he would listen to it and be like, oh yeah, that's how work on this part, or like, maybe you could tweak this part or something like that. And then also because, he's a contest player, he was able to give me some advice about, what the whole experience is like, which is invaluable. So this, take this all with a grain of salt, because this is the first and only contest that I've done, right? So I don't even know where to start. I guess we're still in the submission phase. So starting with that, it was really just, working on the arrangement and being comfortable with it, and then performing it on video, right? That was the first part of it. As far as the arrangement part of it went, read the rules. You take that for granted because, it's kind of boring to read through the document, but if you actually read the judges' criteria, it's pretty clear what you should and shouldn't do. You know, there's such heavy points awarded to composition and originality, and then also to execution. So that might seem, you know, trivial, but if you just focus on those two things, that sort of make sure you stay on track. You know, you don't have to play it at super fast. I'm not a super fast picker. So, you know, I was just like, I think I'm pretty good at arrangements, and I think I can spend a lot of time practicing and watching myself and making sure I'm executing cleanly. And so that was pretty important to me. And I kept coming back to that because you tend to forget about it as you're practicing and you get in the weeds of, you know, about maybe you're writing something and you get caught up in you're trying to play a cool lick and it's just not working out. And so, you know, when that happens, that you just give up. You know, I would just be like, hey, you know what? I can't play this. I wish I could. It would be really cool if I could, but I'm just going to drop it because if I can't play it here, I'm not going to be able to play it when I'm nervous. That's one piece of advice. Yeah, I guess the cool thing about the video submission is it forces you to record yourself and look back at it, which is always a good thing. I think a bunch of people would recommend that. But with this particular contest, it's just this extra motivator. You know, I'm embarrassed to say how many takes I did of that video. And the crazy thing is you get so in the weeds about a video and you're like, oh, I screwed that thing up. And then you look back and at other takes, by the time you're in the 50th take, you look back at your 25th and you're like, actually, that 25th one was pretty good. You know, it's like you get so caught up in these little things, but in reality, turns out, you know, you're probably playing it pretty well. And you know, I think that's the thing too with this submission. There's a deadline, and everybody's probably waiting till the end, you know, because you want to nail it. I did the same thing. I waited till nearly to the very end. And to be honest, like after that first part, I was just hoping to get into the top 5. So at that point, I just was waiting. And then what I should have been doing is just practicing for the finals, but I had no idea, right? So, and I didn't have anything lined up. I didn't have a second arrangement. I didn't know if I would do a second arrangement. It's all, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. And I think we found out like at the beginning of September, right? Like, I think that's when Marcel actually let us know, separate from the release video. The actual contest was, you know, less than a month later. So my second piece of advice is just don't procrastinate on that part. You know, it's great. Like it was hard to do that first arrangement, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to just get your second one ready. Yeah, it's just good. I mean, it's good practice. It only helps you, right? Like you're just practicing and you have motivation to do it. Like just nothing better than that. But yeah, the final, you know, the actual performance at IBMA, because it was such a short period of time to prepare the second arrangement, I ended up, you know, basically cramming, right? Like I would wake up really early, like 5 a.m. and practice for 3 hours before work, right? And then I would work and then I would practice in the evening. And it was like the same for studying exam. Like you do it and it's all fresh. And then once the performance was over, it was gone. Like it just, you know, like I don't know why it works that way, but that's just how it works. I wish that I had prepared that a little earlier and practiced, you know, a little bit more in a way where it's like, you know, spacing it out and able to repeat it on my own terms versus just trying to, you know, cram it every day. So yeah, because I got back and I met up with some buddies and you know, they're like, oh, like, can you play your arrangement? And I started to play it and it's just, nope, I can't. It's gone. It's gone. So, which is, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I played it when it mattered and you know, right? So that was the whole point. My life is mostly the same. I think flat picking wise, the main thing that came out of it was, maybe it's cheesy, but like it gave me more confidence to play. I mean, like I said, my whole goal through, you know, the past couple of years has just been to play more music, like to make it more part of my life. And yeah, I sort of took it as like, all right, you know, maybe this can go somewhere, or like, you know, at least I can take it a little bit more seriously and, I don't know, pay off. I don't really know what I'm looking for at this point. I don't know if I want to play in a band or if I just want to keep doing this and go to more events, go to more jams. I mean, it's super fulfilling. The community is awesome. Probably one of the best decisions I've made, you know, the past couple of years, just to start going to jams and meeting people. At the camp, some folks recognized me. They're like, hey, you won that contest. And that was really cool. You know, it's cool to be recognized by your peers, especially being new to the community. So. And I think one thing that reminded me of is that, you know, I think the reason is sometimes the tempo thing is important when you're playing. Sometimes that gives you the extra feedback. You're like, oh, that sounds really cool when you're playing it faster. And I think that part tends to come in later. Like when I first start playing my arrangements, I'll write them down. I prefer to write them down, and I'll play them and they sound super robotic. And, it's like, I don't know if this is going to sound any good. But after a couple times you get through and it's, once you can actually play it with a little bit of a groove, I think that's when it starts to manifest itself a little bit more. And then the tempo kind of comes naturally with that. So I think the tempo part, it's interesting. I think, I watched, some videos on YouTube of different contests, and some people are playing fast and it's really intimidating. You're like, I don't know. I don't know if I can pull that off or anything close to that. But it's in the end, I don't want to say it doesn't matter. It does matter, but it's not something to get hung up on. It seems like that's what the judges are looking for too. You never know. You never know what their personal experience, is going to be, or what they might find impressive. But after the IBMA contest, after that, I was like, man, it was such a blur. I was like, I don't think I'll do another contest. I think it was like, that was fun. I'll quit while I'm ahead. And a couple months later, I was like, yeah, that was kind of fun. The contest in a way was like the perfect thing for me at that time, especially not being in a band, having to do it on my own terms, like not really requiring anybody else to rely on, right? It's just yourself in a video. It's just taking a video of yourself playing. And so, yeah, for anybody, I feel like it's just only a good thing. You're going to come out of it and be better than you were. It might take a little bit for it to sink in, but it was it was a really good experience for me musically, and it was a lot of fun, and I met some folks, and winning was great too. But yeah, and the free guitar, which is, when I got back, I got it set up at a shop here in town. And the one thing that was a bummer is because in Austin it's so hot, so a lot of times you'll put like bug spray and sunscreen on or whatever, and of course like within a week of it I put bug spray on, forgot about it, smudged the lacquer a little bit, and I was really I actually took it to a shop and they buffed it out for free. They're like, it's all good. Yeah. But yeah, just having this brand new guitar, and then like within a week of it, I gotta be more careful with this thing. But the dude at the shop was like, he's like, for what it's worth, like everybody's guitar is gonna have that smudge. I was like, I know, but this is brand new. And of course now, the smudge is back and everything, but I'm cool with it. So.
There you have it, my friend. Words of wisdom from the man himself, the 2023 Picking for the Prize champion, Ken Marut. Ken, thank you so much for joining us here, and congratulations again on the big win last year. You're an awesome picker, and we look forward to tracking your career. In case you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below and stick around, because we've got more great videos right here.